Slow down, everybody, slow down. But before, I have a little story to tell you. But before I start, I just want to wish Luke's parents, Michelle and Aaron, they had their 27th wedding anniversary yesterday. Let's give them a big round of applause. 27 years of having marriage. All right. So I've known Bree and Luke for about 3 years now. And that is the shortest of anyone in the wedding party. That is not important. That has nothing to do with the story I'm about to tell. I just want you to know how quickly I rose up the ranks in the friend group. And how low-key impressive it is having to do this people. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So yeah, I've known them for 3 years. And in my opinion, they've always been like the perfect couple. They have very similar personality. They like the same things. They're always hanging out, they're never getting in fights, they never yell at each other. They kiss a little bit too frequently in front of me, which I find pretty annoying. But essentially, in the 7 years they have been dating, they have been the perfect couple. However, there was one event that happened long before they dated that almost caused Luke and Bree to never ever date because Luke was so scarred from this event. And today, Luke has given me that honor to tell you all about that event. So I am going to take you back to 5th grade. Also known as the first year Luke and Bree met, and also known as the incident of the hoedown. So be ready, it's so freaking wild. Alright, first day of 5th grade. They've never met yet, and they have class together this year. First day, haven't met yet. Up to this point, Luke has never found a girl cute. He has never had a crush on a girl, none of that. You know, girls had cuties and all he cared about was hockey. That is all he cared about. That was until he saw Rihanna Remington. He didn't just think she was cute. He didn't just have a little crush. He knew that day he was gonna be his future wife. He knew that. Sorry. He knew that the first day. But here's the thing. He was in 5th grade. He was shy. He didn't know how to express his feelings to Bree about his love. Luckily for Luke, he had a gym teacher, and I'm not kidding you, by the name of Mrs. Seaman. And the thing about Mrs. Seaman, folks, she had a little secret. She secretly loved to match the kids and try to get them to start dating. That was her favorite thing to do. And so over the course of the year, she would kind of see which kids had crushes on each other. And it was clear as day, Luke had a massive, he was in love with Bree from the first day. And so she's like, okay, how can I make these kids date? I know, I'll have a bunch of 5th grade students do a class hoedown. That was her way to get kids to start dating. And she would handpick the kids with the kids she wanted to date. That's how she would do it. I'm just telling you what happened. I don't approve. We shouldn't be doing that, but that's just what happened. Anyway, so Bree and Gutty. That's his nickname in Laura's Gutty, so if I call him that throughout the speech, that's who he is. Bree and Luke start practicing for the hoedown. And they practiced for 1 month, okay? 1 month. And every single day, Luke's love is getting stronger and stronger. This kid can barely contain himself. All right. I have incredibly inappropriate feelings for a fifth grader to have, but that is just the way he felt. And so Luke's like, I just cannot hold it in anymore. He's like, so you know, I know what I'm gonna do. On the day of the hoedown, I am going to tell Bree I love her and I want her to be his girlfriend, to be my girlfriend. He's gonna ask her to be his girlfriend. That was his plan. So now, folks, it's the day of the hoedown. Luke has practiced all of his lines. They're all down. He gets to school. He has confidence sky high. He knows Bree will say yes. Except there's one little problem. Luke gets to class. The hoedown's right before lunch. Brianna Renner's not there. Brianna Renner's not at school. Luke just waits and waits. Waits and waits and waits for his future wife. He is just desperately waiting for as long as he can. And unfortunately for Luke, Bree had a deadly illness that day, okay? Deadly. She was so sick. She was puking, all that. She just never showed up to school. And unfortunately for Luke, the only other kid who didn't have a part that day, that didn't show up, was one of his male classmates. So he had to do his hoedown with one of his male classmates instead of his future wife. So Luke was devastated. He gave up on his quest for Bree. He gave up. Completely. He's like, Brianna Renner, she stinks. Moving on. I'm moving on with my life. And so years follow, right? Luke's just trying to live his life. He dates other girls. And you know what? It doesn't work out. You know why? She's not, because they weren't Brianna Renner. They weren't Brianna. And he only cares about Brianna Renner. And now, luckily for Luke though, it turns out he was a pretty good runner. He wasn't just a pretty good runner. He was the best freaking runner in West Bend High, okay? And coincidentally, guess who else was the best freaking runner in West Bend High for the ladies? Brianna Renner. So very, very, very slowly, but surely, the crush starts forming again. And it took him forever, dude. It took him so long. But eventually, he worked up the courage to ask Bree on a date at junior year of high school. And I would say so far it's worked out pretty well. But folks, there's actually one detail I left out earlier for dramatic effect. You see, years after they started dating, they've been dating for years, and Luke's finally, he's about 20 years old at this point. It took him about 9 full years to fully recover from the hoedown, all right? Because that's how devastated he was. And he finally felt comfortable enough to tell Bree his plan. So he just goes up to Bree and he's like, hey, I don't know if you remember that hoedown, but I was gonna ask you to be my girlfriend. You know, he's just laughing, you know, he's not upset. And Bree's face turns bright white. And Luke is so confused, like, what? It's not that big a deal, and you don't have to be upset then. And she was like, oh my gosh. I actually had a massive crush on you in 5th grade, and I faked being sick that day because I was so scared to dance with you. Right? Folks, if that isn't one of the freaking greatest love stories you have ever heard in your life, then I don't know what else I need to tell you. Thank you for letting me be part of this day. It meant the world to me.
I give you all the love an Irishman is allowed to give in Norwegian. And yeah, I freaking love you guys.